Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code Grove City Hockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today.
Now carried it in back into goal.
That was a beautiful passing play right there, Sean.
What a save! Woo! Talk about a move.
Welcome to another exciting edition to Grove City Hockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, kind of. Well, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Show you how to be the man. Show you how to be the man. Show you how to be the man, how to be the boss, how to buy the car, how to buy the house. Show you how to be the man. Yeah, show you how to be the man.
Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and with me is Vince Free. How you doing, Vince?
Dude, I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for taking the time. So you won at, I believe it was State Wars this year, right? You guys, or was it Narch?
We won Summer Narch.
Summer Narch, yep. And that division, and I was just trying to look it up before you popped on, and then we started talking about other things. So tell us what division that was. You guys pretty much dominated that division there for that particular tournament.
It's kind of funny because when I left California and moved to Texas, I didn't think I was going to play really any more competitive travel tournaments, and I was 38, now I'm 40, but man, I was just kind of like getting to the end of my ropes of like, man, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And I still want to play like men's league. Right. So
yeah, absolutely.
I landed on, just this Denton roller hockey rink and started playing there. And all of a sudden I start seeing some kids show up, and I say kids, they're in their later 20s and early 30s. And dude, they're they're great hockey players. I'm like, This is interesting. I've really never seen these guys around. I've been playing on the Palma team for 16 years in the men's platinum division, dabbled in pro here and there, but honestly, I was like, I'm like, we should play some tournaments, guys, and let's get something going. And it kind of organically all felt, came together, and I'm just like, man, let's do some tournaments. And we started playing, and you mentioned like we dominated that Narch, we won, but the first year and a half we dominated round robin. Like we went 4-0. I mean, if you look up the stats, we were like 35 plus goals to 4 against, and we would get kicked out like the first round. We would lose the first round of playoffs, or we'd lose the semifinals, or we lost a couple championships. The year before we won, we lost to Palma in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And that game was crazy because we were winning that game like 3-1, literally dominating the game. Barnett missed a few breakaways. Sushi, Eddie Motz is a stud. He missed a couple breakaways. I mean, honestly, we should have pulled away that game like 6-1. And classic Andy Kripp style comes rolling in and scores 2 goals with 40 seconds left, and they won in overtime, and it was heartbreaking because obviously I want to beat my former team, right? And so that just kind of fed me more to be like, all right, let's turn this into something bigger and better, and we were rolling under the Farm Tough name at the time because we didn't have like I wanted to establish a team, but I also wanted to have some name recognition. And I grew up with Peter in Wisconsin. I love Peter to death. His program's fantastic. And I'm just like, hey, Peter, we're going to just use your name. I'll throw freeze in there because I'm going to be sponsoring a lot of it. And he's like, yeah, man, let's do it. And then, that's so we were the freeze farm tough for a while. And our record was incredible. I mean, I started an Instagram for us. I mean, we tracked all our records. I mean, we were freaking like 28-3, and the 3 losses we had were playoffs and championships. And I mean, we were the greatest round robin team of all time. So this summer, we played all 3 major events. We did tours, Narch and State Wars, and out of those 3, we won Narch. We lost tours in the final against Palma, and then we lost in the quarterfinals or semis to New York, who ended up winning it. And if you ask Thompson, he'll tell you that was the championship. And but circling back to your thought on, we had actually, there's some adversity along the way. I mean, we didn't blow through round robin. Finally, we've had challenges. We won 2 games. We tied 2 games. We weren't the 1 seed. We got in, and maybe the 2 seed or something. And we just started gelling. We had our veteran Bryn on our team, Bryn Morris. He's a beauty. He helped a lot of the newer guys that we brought in from Texas that are great ice hockey guys, but learning roller hockey. And he was able to get on their line, teach them how to play, develop that line. So we had 3 solid lines at Narch, and we just started rolling, and we kind of rolled through the semis, and we were waiting to play Palma. I mean, we were watching Palma play Vegas, and we're like, Palma's going to smoke them. Let's go. Vegas was good, man. Vegas had a hell of a team, and they played the right style and the right game, and they beat Palma in the semis. And I'm like, great. Now, we're all looking forward to playing them. And we, so we ended up playing Vegas in the championship. I think we won the final 6-1. And that was our first real cup, I would say, with the squad. But I don't want to discount what we did at Winter Wars. I mean, this year we went to Michigan, and you have to, like, Winter Wars in Michigan, or not Michigan, I'm sorry, Missouri. Went to Missouri, and you at Winter Wars, you have to play for your state. So it was Team Texas, and then we played like 7 Missouri teams.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That event was in, I believe, spring. When is that event? Like May?
Yeah, it was like April. It was either like I think it was in middle of April, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
it was like April 17th or 13th through the 17th or something like that. Yeah,
we dominated. Like, we rolled through. We went 4-0 in round robin, and then we ended up playing country puck again and the semis, and I think we actually played the Wizards, Novak's team. We mercied them 8-0. I think we mercied Novak's team. We ended up beating country puck, I think, before that, but we played JP Bielstein's 35 or 38 and over team as they were preparing for the Masters USA. They had a lot of their Masters USA team.
Yeah, because I don't think Franny made it down for that because he's from Michigan. So I know that they have like 3 Michigan guys, and then the rest were like from the Missouri area.
That's another conversation, by the way. That whole thing was insane. But I caught wind that, actually, because I played for the USA Masters team the year before, and I wasn't really in my best physique, health, all that stuff. I was battling 2 crazy pinched nerves, and my L5 was like literally my pitch down on my sciatic nerve, and I was a mess the year before.
That S1 L5 region is, if you jack that up, it sucks, and because that's what took my career out was the S1 L5 L4 L3 region, and I played through so much pain in Italy. It was ridiculous. All that pain prevented me from really like working out and doing what I had to do. Man, I think I was like 212 pounds
my heaviest I've ever been going into any event in any summer run. And after that was all said and done, and going into this coming year, I found out I did not make the team. I thought I played great, and it just they went in a different direction. Car Shield ended up paying for the whole thing, and the Car Shield guys wanted to have their boys, and I'm like, hey, I get it. So there's a lot of really good talent that didn't make that team. They left a lot of big names off that roster. I mean, Bryn Morris is awesome. He's, Andy Cripps wasn't on the team. Like, there are some big names not on the team. And I'm like, holy shit. So
yeah, I was surprised by that too.
We were all a little bewildered about the whole thing, how it went down, but it actually pissed me off and fueled me to, but that's been my whole life, man. You piss me off and you give me something to like go after and play for or work for. I'm going to come and get it. So, I'm my healthiest I've ever been at 40, down to 185, strong, fast. Like, I'm playing my best hockey right now. And I took that into the summer, and, we, winning Narch was just awesome. But, in Michigan, or I keep saying Michigan because you brought up Michigan. It's really wild. But,
that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Missouri, playing that team in the championship at Midwest Wars was kind of like a vendetta. Like, I wanted to beat them so bad, and we ended up beating them 6-0, and technically a mercy because there's like 2.5 minutes left in the game, and they quit.
They just
stopped playing. They said run the clock, and they shook hands. I mean, we played them so awesome. I mean, we played our best hockey that event, and so I would say then that's technically 2 cups that we won last year. And, it's just we got the same squad and same attitude, and, we don't take anything for granted. All our guys appreciate everything that is offered to them through sponsorships. There's no one selfish on the team. I wouldn't trade this group of guys for anyone right now. So we're looking for a good summer run again.
Yeah. Well, and that's, and that actually, as you were saying with, you were playing some of your best hockey, that actually probably threw out some of your best highlights that we've seen from you in quite some time. You've had a couple of clappers that were pretty thrown out there on the Instagram circuit there for a while.
Yeah, man, that was a clapper heard around the world, man. That it was crazy. In that championship game against Vegas, we were on the power play. We went down 1-0 against Vegas in the first 40 seconds of that game. Yeah, and I'm like, shit, here we go again, right? Mm-hmm. And we ended up getting on the power play. I had a rebound come my way. I was on the right side, and I was able to get a good shot off and go top shelf and tie the game 1-1. And that clapper that you're talking about, the highlight reel. Thanks, Darren, by the way. Darren, you're a beauty for the love on that post and that video. But your song selection is spot on too, Mr. Goodwin. But it was fun because that goal got us up 2-1, and from there, dude, our boys just took over, man. We have such an awesome squad with Justin and Jordan Greenberg. Those brothers are insane. If you've never watched them two play together, it's like nothing else I've ever seen before. They know where they always are on the rink. They're always supporting each other. We have a kid named Peyton, and Peyton is just silky smooth and one of the better roller hockey players I've seen kind of ever play the game. I mean, it's, he could be playing pro, to be honest with you. All 3 of those kids between Greenbergs and Peyton could be playing pro. But it's just where we're all at. We're having a lot of fun, and it's just the squad is good, and we have a lot of really good talent underneath them that it's going to be a good 2024.
Well, I'm excited to see how that turns out for you guys. So now, how did your hockey and your drive to succeed, how did that translate into the construction mogul business that you've essentially built, nationwide? As we were talking about earlier, you're based out of Texas, so like when you hear construction, you just think Chip and Joanna Gaines, and then probably the next one on the list would be Freeze Construction, right?
Yeah, I'm motivated by a lot of things, and one thing I was motivated to start Freeze with my wife Jenna was the passion to take care of people, and growing up playing hockey with Pama and becoming pretty close with the Nijars and Master Mike, and just talking with him and always talking business with him. And I've had businesses throughout my upbringing, if you will. Started a painting company to help pay for college. And then after that, I got into the cold storage. So what I do freeze construction. We're a nationwide cold storage contractor. So we build food and beverage and cold storage warehouses. So anywhere your food, before your food hits your grocery store, it's stored somewhere, right? And these large warehouses that are -10 or 35 degrees, and they get picked up by forklifts on pallets. They get put in trucks, and they go out to your Ralph's, Kroger's, Tom Thumbs, Piggly Wiggly's, Pick and Saves, whatever y'all have out there in the Midwest now, man.
Yeah, there's Fairlife milk is out there. I actually did exactly what you.
Yeah.
I worked inside the building that you would create. I did that for a little bit.
Yeah, so I actually I got into this industry from a hockey friend. So I grew up in the Milwaukee area. I played a lot of ice hockey and roller hockey in Wisconsin. We had 2 rinks. We had we had a skate university and then Skateland, and then there was a rink out in Madison. So the Milwaukee area, then Madison had a rink, but it was really Peter Dale that was running the roller when I was coming up. And then I met Peter Dale and started doing camps with him and started playing a ton of roller. And then I met a guy by the name of Matt Hirsch, and he was going to MSOE, and he started playing some travel roller hockey. So I started playing with Matt Hirsch, and we started the Chicago Magic. And Chicago Magic, if you Google that, dude, we did a TV special on that. I mean, I
will tell you this. I lived in Bloomington, Illinois in I want to say 2004. 2003, 2004. You guys came down to Bloomington, Illinois at the fairgrounds at Illinois State because you guys had Tom Keller on your team. And
Tom Keller
so he and then you guys, I'm not sure if you guys scrimmaged the Illinois State team or there was an exhibition, and I happened to be in the stands watching, and that was like just when I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna put any effort into it, I need to start bucking up now, and started playing a little bit out there at the fairgrounds, for that little bit. Then when my grandfather passed away, I moved back to Michigan, and then that's kind of how I kind of ran into Michael Francis up in the KZU area.
Love that guy.
Yeah, I love him too, and started playing with him, and then with Andy Billheimer too, with the Michigan Thunder, and then just one thing led to another. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and then once my career started to dwindle down, then that's when I started playing with your brother Dave in Maiha when they started to first kick out, and it was like you say, you can dominate one day, and then just lay a goose egg the next. Well, for us, we would always lay the goose egg on Saturday. We would go either 1-1, but it was like we would barely win, or we'd go 0-2, but everybody made the playoffs, and we would just run the table, and we would always be in the championship. So it was crazy how that all worked out.
Any given Sunday, man, anyone can win any given day, man.
That's right.
Anyone can win any given day, man. That's hockey, But as far as how freeze started and how we got there, I mean, there were so many things that happened in my life that got me to where I am, and so many people to thank along the way in the hockey community and not in the hockey community. I mean, dude, we could talk for 3 hours about it. I'm actually writing. I don't know if it's ever going to be published or where I'm going to go with it, but I'm writing a book right now, and I'm just putting thoughts on paper and how I got to where I am and the people I met along the way and how they've influenced me and impacted my life to make decisions to do the next thing or get me to that next step. And 30,000 foot level looking down, I mean, it's all about relationships, who how you treat people. And if you want something in life, man, just go out and go after it, right? The worst thing that's going to happen is it's not going to happen.
Right.
But if you don't try, it's, I
Exactly.
mean, dude, you're going to regret it. So,
Yep.
you know, that is kind of what propelled us to start Freeze because, you know, met Matt Hirsch. He was at MSOE, played hockey with him. He worked at a company called ASI. They're high-speed cold storage door manufacturers. So they're selling equipment in those buildings that we built. Did that for like 6 or 7 years, and then started kind of covering the West Coast for that regional sales manager. So I would fly from Milwaukee to California like every other week, every 3 weeks, and you know, run Cali up and down. And I mean, being a regional sales manager, doing 15 appointments a week, trying to sell a product, right? And then met some general contractors that built these buildings. One of them hired me to help them open up their Irvine, California office. So Jen and I packed up our things, left Milwaukee, and moved to Orange County, which was fantastic. I mean, that Orange County was beautiful. The weather is awesome. That got me into working for a contractor that, you know, one of my mentors owned the company. I always wanted to work for him as long as I knew him in the industry. And finally the opportunity came. So I left that GC after like a year and 8 months and then went to work for this contractor. I was there for almost 7 years. And when he had sold the company to ESOP, management changed. There was a lot of things I wanted to do for our people, our field guys. The guys in the field really are the reason we exist. They're great people. I had so many awesome programs and ideas to give them more money and benefits and just, you know, grow a really good team. And it just, I wasn't being heard. And I was just motivated to say, you know what, there's a better way. And I just said, you know, F it, let's start our own company and I can do this, but do it better. So we did that in July of 2019, which was a scary time to start any company at all, because it's, you know, you have a house in Orange County, you got bills, you got a mortgage, you got all these things. But, you know, Jen and I are like, dude, if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it. I mean, the weekend I started it, I had job offers for great paying job offers, work for other companies in the industry, because I've been in it since 05. So, right. You know, I've been in the industry for almost 20 years. So I had a name for myself. I went to all the conferences and trade shows, so people knew who I was. And I just had to dodge all those job opportunities and say, listen, I'm starting this company. And we got our first project and we were boots in the ground building it February of 2020. Well, a month later, obviously the pandemic hit and I'm like, great, like this is bad timing. Well, anything that was deemed essential, which it was food related, it's, hey man, this is going no matter what. So I was lucky in that part of it. And, you know, we took Freeze from, you know, our first year, we did 3.5 million. And this year in 3.5, 4 years, we'll do 60 million.
That's insane, man. That's like really cool.
It's crazy.
And I know exactly what you mean, because I was essential at that time, working with Fairlife, you know, shipping out the milk and the
Sure.
Coca-Cola product and everything that they need, the coffee and stuff like that, just so that you know, you guys had everything you needed. And then on top of that, you know, I know exactly what type environment you know, because I was in the cooler, I was not on the dry side, so.
Yep.
It's one of those things where it makes you just appreciate that just a little bit more, because you guys, you know, without that, you know, a lot of us wouldn't have the essentials that we need to survive. And so thank you for that. Yeah.
And you know, it's crazy, like, you know, starting a company like that costs money. And I remember I had an awesome business plan. I'm like, listen, like 10% for $100,000. I'm trying to raise $100,000, 10%. I'm willing to give up 30% of the company. Let's raise some money and start this company. Yeah. Everyone said no. I went to Nijar in his office, and Mike looks at me and goes, "You don't need me." And I'm like, "Yes, I do. I need money to do this company." And he's like, he looked at me, he's like, "You don't need me. You don't want me. You're like, I'm going to do you a favor and say no. You don't need me." And it's funny looking back now. I mean, I'm glad he told me that, you know what I mean? Right. I mean, I could have given up a big chunk of my company to him. And at the end of the day, he was right. I didn't need him, but everything he has built, that guy's story is fantastic, by the way. I mean, he's so motivating. He's a motivational person. He has motivational things he makes his team play before games. and dude, the guy's an incredible human being. The program he started, I looked at that. I said, Mike, one day I'm going to get to a spot where I can afford to do this for my guys and hockey program. And that's what I want to do. That's a way of me giving back. And I've been able since then, as we have grown and freez has become very sizable. I've been able to really sponsor a lot more. So it was at the end of this year, I decided to tell Peter, listen, Peter, I love you to death, but I love Farm Tough, nothing against you. I just want to do a freez hockey program and go from there. And so he's like, yeah, it's all good, man. No big deal. No worries. So we started Labeda freez, and I mean, it's same teams. Everything's the same. Labeda freez is our name. And Rob and Kevin are awesome to us. They hook us up. We get some good love out of Labeda, and we love their wheels. Their new wheels are insane. But it's now Labeda freez. We have an Instagram for it, and the program's growing, and I'm able to really sponsor a lot for the guys. And man, they're so appreciative of it too. And they don't take any of that stuff for granted. There was probably a few people that took a lot of that stuff for granted on the PAMA team. A lot didn't, but there are some that did. And it's like, man, I always promise myself, if I have anyone like that within my program, I don't care how good they are, they will not play under my bill. Like they need to be the right human being to play. And there's plans to obviously have a kids program and a freez hockey program that we can help sponsor, because I know what hockey did for me throughout my youth and growing up, and it made me the person I am today. And I think hockey players, as you know, man, we're just built different and bred different. And
we are. And, and I came from a wrestling background to the inline, the community. And so those you're the only one out there on the mat. It's just you only have you to blame if you essentially fuck up and lose, but in inline, it's the same thing. Like you are out there, you have a role to play, and you better play that role. Or else the team isn't going to be as successful as it could be, so that's one of the things that I just love how everybody, and again, like you were saying with the ice versus the inline, two different games, two different style of play. But once you get the inline aspect down, you can translate that to ice, and you can change the whole game, especially on those power plays and those penalty kills.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, 100%. And it's funny, like even just circling back to like how it started and where we came from. Like, man, I remember playing at Skate University with roll-on floor and brick walls, and going to USARS and playing these events in Des Moines way back in the late 90s. And just our eyes are wide open. There's the Mad Hatters and all these good teams from New York. And I'm like, holy shit, there's so much really good hockey players out here. And we sucked. Like we would get mercied every tournament, but we stayed together and we kept playing roller hockey in the Milwaukee area, and our team kept getting better. And then we went out to New York, to Rochester, and did a USARS event out there, played puck and ball. You remember they still did ball?
Yeah. No,
so
they still do ball now.
In New York, and it was like 98, 99, and maybe it was our 15 to 16-year-old age group, or maybe 18 and under, one of the two. And we just ran the table. We started getting really good, and it was fun for a while. And then, obviously college happened, and all of us kind of went our own separate ways. But I stayed playing competitive inline, and I was hooked up with guys from Illinois, so I was playing with Pete Messina and Pat Lee, Lee Sweat, huge names in roller hockey. I mean,
absolutely.
One of the filthiest hockey players I've ever seen is Pat Lee. I mean, growing up with him and playing with him, man, I remember playing against him. He hated me. So him and I, we would just hate each other, playing each other, because we were a lot alike in our styles of play. And Pat Lee didn't like anyone that was good. So he hated me.
He hated everybody.
I'm just like, who is this cocky little fucker, So, but he was, and when we started getting to play together, it was so fun. I mean, the guy's just absolutely ridiculous at hockey. He still is, man. He's one of the greatest natural talents in roller hockey of almost all time.
Yeah.
And the guy put zero effort into it. Like,
It's insane.
You look back at his career, and it's like, man, you imagine if you did the weight room every day and just focused on this, and that, what he could have been. I mean, his natural talent alone got him playing D1 ice hockey.
Yeah.
Without working out, without just ever lifting a weight.
He would literally just go to the rink, have a couple of beers, and then jump out on the floor and then do his shift or do the game, be done, and then hop back off and grab another couple beers. And it was just like, what is this? Yeah. Like, I'll never forget the first game that I played against Pat Lee. And my coach was pissed because I had because we were playing, it was the Thunder against the Roller Snakes, and full contact in Major League Roller Hockey. Mm-hmm. And I had a clear shot at just blast him into the boards. But it was the first time I was playing against him. So I was a little, starstruck, I guess you could say.
Sure.
And so I just kind of like held up. Like, I didn't really blast him, and my coach reamed me a new one. And he goes, if you ever get a chance, and I go, but dude, I could have like really hurt him with the angle that I was at. And and then again playing with him in MyHa, and then we had like a skills competition, and it was Pat Lee, Mike Francis, and myself. We were doing the accuracy contest, and we were the last three to go. Franny goes first. He hits 4 targets out of 5 shots. Like,
that's really good.
Yeah. And then I hit 4 targets on 9 shots, and then because you got 10 shots, Pat gets up there and gets 4 for 4. We were just like,
of course he did.
What the fuck, man? We just nothing we could do. And he just like it was nothing, like he was like, I think he was just sitting down on the boards and was just like, all right, I guess I'll go do this real quick. Mm-hmm. And so I mean, it's exactly like you said, man. There's just a natural talent, the skill level, And then I tried to get him on the podcast. He said no thanks. And I was like, oh man, really? I'd really love to chat with you, man. Catch up. And he's like, I would love to, but I just don't have it in the cards right now. So, hopefully one day we can get Patty on the. Yeah,
I don't know. He'll probably never listen to this, but if he does, man, I just hope he knows that he was an inspirational hockey player to me, man. I would never tell him that to his face, so I'll say it now. He was fun to watch, and I learned a lot from him. I was a little older than him, but still, man, I don't not learn from anyone. If you're younger than me and you have something to bring to the table, I'm going to absorb and listen and learn. And one of the other guys in that area, one of the greatest roller hockey players, in my opinion, too, is Dan Costanza.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Costanza, my God, like I remember growing up watching him. I was the biggest Mudcats fan of all time. I would go to the rink and watch the Mudcats play. They were the team, man. CJ Yoder, Dan Costanza. I mean, Dan was just so damn shifty and smooth, and he was long in the way he played. I mean, he was one of the best roller hockey players. I mean, and people today will never understand or know the name Dan Costanza, but dude, he was nasty. And I remember playing with him in that Midwest and like learning from him. So I had a lot of, and then I started going to Michigan and I started playing on Team Mission Detroit. Mm-hmm. So then I was playing with TMD, and I was playing with Jeff Carey. And Jeff Carey, again, another sick, all-natural talent.
Yep. Like,
just he would eat 9 cookies and 9 beers before a game and go out there and score 10 goals. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like,
without even trying. And it was crazy because, like, his stride, he'd always be, like, 4 strides ahead of you to year 1. And you were just like, how?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how? And it just, because, like, he didn't even look like he was even trying.
You remember Popescu? Out of Michigan, he's a little older than that. I mean,
might have been like just at like I might have been in Illinois when that was going down.
There is so much good talent in Michigan for roller, man.
And then they all represented represented Team USA at one point or another. And just putting all of those guys together, like on like a legends team or a veterans team, they would the inline world. Around the world would not be able to compete with them at all because it would be a mercy on every game.
Yeah, it's funny. I growing up, I was 18 years old, and then we did a USARS tournament in Illinois, and I was selected to try out for the Team USA men's team. 18 and over men's team. So it was in Rochester, and I remember going out there. My brother Dave got the invite too, and this was so long ago, dude. That USA team back in the day was Jamie Yoder, CJ Yoder, Dan Costanza, right? Like all these insane names that are in their later 20s, early 30s, filthy hockey players, right? Oliver David. Gosh, I remember at the time, like Darren Goodwin was at the tryout. Rob Tournemont was at the tryout. I mean, these guys, these are big names in hockey trying out for Team USA. And I didn't know anyone in the roller hockey community. I didn't know anyone, right? And we're doing the tryout and I like make it down to like literally the final cut. And the coach goes, you know, I forget who the coach is at the time. And he's just like, you know, I don't know who you are, Vince. I don't see you at the Narches or all these tournaments. And I'm like, I don't even know what those tournaments are.
Right.
You know, like at the time I didn't make the team. But the funniest part about the entire tryout was it helped me get my name on the map with all these guys. Right. But not only that, the funniest part was we're at the tryout and Darren just launched his rocket puck. Okay. So we're using the rocket puck on the rink and it was a newer puck. It had obviously modifications and it's been made better and blah, blah, blah. But at the time, the puck wasn't that great. IDS was still the best puck. Yeah. But we're using the rocket puck at this tryout. And my brother Dave is on the fucking hockey bench. And he goes, he's sitting next to Darren, who made the puck, didn't know, and goes, these fucking pucks are the worst fucking pucks I've ever played with. They fucking suck. They bounce. And sorry for my language. I hope you can edit that, or if it's a not safe for work podcast.
It's a non-issue. I don't care. Yeah, this is
like these pucks are brutal. They roll. They're bounce. Blah blah blah. Why aren't we using IDS? And he is sitting next to Darren. And I remember Costanza was sitting on the bench, and he's looking over like, holy cow! He has no idea. He's sitting next to the guy who made the puck, who owns the company who made the puck.
But that's
and
Dave.
Darren's face is like, what the dude? It was great. It was like one of those foot in your mouth classic Dave Freeze stories because he just says the dumbest shit at the dumbest time. And
half the time you just look at him and go, did you really just say that?
Did you really just say that? Yeah. But listen, he's got a great big heart and he cares about people and he wants to do the right thing, but he just says the wrong thing.
Yeah. And he's got nothing but love and he means well, but it just comes out just like, no, buddy. No.
My goodness. Yeah, for sure. That was wild. But
well, when Dave sees us, still love you, buddy. You know?
Yeah, no kidding. He's out here and he's working for freez now and he's in the field doing a great job and he's going to be the guy in the field that cares about the quality and the product and getting something done on time and under budget. So he's got that passion that no one else has. I mean, it's an unmatched passion that no one at our company in the field can match because of his last name. His first day working for us, I go, Dave, do me a favor. When you're in the field, don't tell them that we're brothers. Go in there and earn respect by working your ass off, keep your nose to the ground and just help people and work your ass off. First day on the fucking job. First day on the job. Hey guys, I'm Vince's brother. First day. I'm like, oh God. Like it's stuff like that. Like he's just not coachable in that aspect. I'm like, dude, you gotta just stop, dude. Yeah. So right there already he's got, now everyone's walking on eggshells around him because they're afraid whatever they do is going to get back to me. And I'm like, oh my God, it's not like that. But
no.
Yeah, that's him in a nutshell for you.
The rinks in Wisconsin, I think there's only one rink left, and that's in Madison, if I'm not mistaken.
That got torn down recently. Fast forward.
No, but no, they got a new facility.
Oh, they did? Okay, I didn't know about that. See, I was trying to tell you before we started recording, you asked me all these questions about and I don't follow what's going on anymore. I'm so busy,
No, I'm pretty sure that because there's because when I did the Minnesota inline episode, Justice was talking to the guys from Madison how they just had a new facility that they were able to reopen. And then they even have a team that's playing in Maiha too, which is really cool. They just had their first event a couple weeks ago in Chicago. with the Madison Monsters making their debut. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Man, that's just, dude, there's a lot of cool things that everyone's doing right now to really pump up the inline community, which I love. And even as small as this, Ben, what you're doing, right? Like, it's awesome you're doing this podcast. It's so hats off to you. Congrats to you building this thing and doing podcasts and helping spread the love and story for inline hockey, man. That's really cool.
Trying to, man, because it's like there's so much hockey out there. Like when I was doing the El Paso guys, do you know how much it cost for a 10-game season plus playoffs in that league down there in El Paso?
How much?
$40.
That's it?
Yeah,
wow.
$40. And I go,
yeah. So we have, I mean, roller hockey in Texas. I'm telling you right now, when I moved to Texas, I felt like inline wasn't really that big, and I feel a shift, and I feel it's growing in popularity. We had a couple Texas teams go out to tours.
Yeah.
And I'm still yet to link up with a guy who has a couple teams that are younger, and we need to create youth divisions at Arlington and in Denton, all rinks within the Dallas area. We got rinks down south in Houston, the El Paso you're talking about. Roller hockey exists in Texas. It's definitely growing. It used to be really, really big back in the day. Now we need to bump it up again and grow it. There was even rumors of tours coming to Frisco, Texas, and playing at the Comerica Arena where the Dallas Stars practice. And I think they have a junior hockey team play at the arena, but it's only a 2-rink facility. So I don't know how tours would have done that, but bringing hockey to Frisco would be awesome. If you don't know what Frisco is, it's by Plano. Frisco, Plano is north of Dallas, about 30 minutes. And it is a booming metropolis, I tell you. Everyone's moving here. It's growing like crazy. PGA corporate just moved into Frisco. They're bringing in a Universal Studios to Frisco. It's growing like crazy, and hockey is growing out here like crazy too. The Stars are good again, right? So the Dallas Stars are making hockey popular. I play ice hockey over at that arena, at Comerica Arena, and great hockey out here, and the community's great. But I would love to see someone bring their national event to Texas. I would love to see a state wars come to Texas, and because it's so centralized. What people don't understand, you can fly direct out of Dallas, DFW, almost anywhere in the United States, direct, and it's amazing. And we have 2 airports, and we have Dallas Love also, which has a ton of Southwest flights in and out. So getting here is easy. The weather is great in the summer. There's a ton to do. Over at the Star, where the Comerica Arena is, across the street is where the Dallas Cowboys practice, and they have a thing called the Star, which is their indoor stadium practice arena. Outside is a huge flat screen TV, ginormous flat screen TV, a artificial turf football field in front that kids can just come and play on. There's an Omni Hotel, all these shops, restaurants along this border, awesome steakhouse, Mexican. I mean, there's so much stuff to do in this area, right? By the Star. And for selfish reasons, I'm like 10 minutes from there, and I would love for it to come here. But speaking of roller hockey, I mean, there's Joe is the owner of the rink in Denton, and he's awesome. And I've been talking with him about trying to get the still mat floor to Texas, to that rink. If you've played on that floor?
I have not played. I haven't skated since 2015.
Wow.
But I have said, and I will always say this, and my fiance laughs at me for this. I said, if we ever get a world record, the longest world roller hockey game ever going again, anywhere, if I know anybody that's going to try to put that together, that would be the only thing that would get me out of retirement, so that I can.
What's your record?
It's like 30. It's I want to say it's like 36 hours.
Really? And who holds it?
Yeah. I know Shivo just did it not too long ago. I can't remember. I know the club that I coached in Africa did it in, I want to say 2013 or 2014. It was like the year or 2 years after I left. And then they broke the record. And then like a couple years ago, John Shivo was part of it. And he's like, dude, it's exhausting, but it's worth it.
That's awesome. Maybe maybe me and the Texas boys could break the record.
And I've always said, like, hey, and I even mentioned it to the El Paso guys too. I go, if anybody can get that thing going, and they got an open roster spot, I am in. Just give me 6 months of notice so that way I can get into shape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how does that work? So the longest hockey game ever. Do you have to have a set roster and refs and like run the clock or have 20-minute periods and intermissions? Like, how does that work?
I think you just start it, just kind of like like soccer, where you just let the clock just run, and then you get a number. I think I'm not sure if you have to have a set number of players. I mean, you could do it and then maybe get 2 different records out of it. But you play and then you get a rest period. So let's say you have 24 players on a team, right? And then you go, okay, hey, 8 guys are going to do this one, 8 guys are going to do this one, and then you can have 6 or 7 floaters or whatever. However it goes. I'm terrible at math all of a sudden. But yeah, it's just one of those where you just do it in shifts, but you're still part of the team and the game just keeps going.
Wow.
And, and then you just kind of just cycle out. So, it was crazy. I would love to see something like that. I would love to be a part of something like that because, being a Guinness Book of World Record holder, it'd be pretty nice to put up on your wall.
Dude, that'd be insane. Now you have me thinking of how we can have because I could have sworn I just saw the guys out of Missouri do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it was too.
Yeah, I just saw those guys do that. I'll have to ask them about that. Not that they want us to beat their record, but yeah, I mean that looks fun. But trying to get the rink and Denton to get the still mat floor. It's the closest thing to ice hockey I've ever been on. Even with the puck, I mean the puck is heavier, but the way it slides on that floor, it's unmatched right now in my opinion.
Yeah. And that still mat is I think it's a Czech Republic floor. Yeah,
it is. It's awesome. We played on it overseas when I was for USA Masters. It was fun.
Yeah.
And
it's only going to get better.
Yeah. And USA, they just announced too the USA Masters. They're playing that in Spain this year.
Yep.
In Spain. Yeah. So I have no idea how they pick the team. We'll see.
Yeah, it would be cool if you make the team. I'd love to do an interview if because I know when Franny was over there for this year's Masters, I was able to interview him during the tournament.
Yeah, that's awesome.
In between games.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Yeah, I'm still working hard and I work very hard on the business and to keep that going but I also work very hard on hockey and staying in shape for that, because I'm still playing against the kids that are in their 20s and 30s. So
and you have to stay on your game because you don't want them to go, look at this grandpa over here playing.
Dude. Yeah, exactly. No, I know, man. I know the feeling. So I'm already getting text messages about State Wars is 35 and over division now that they're turning it into an open pro division for 35 and over. So that's an opportunity to make another team also. That'll be good.
And then your colors now, because you were red and white with the Farm Tough, now you guys are transitioning over to, it looked like it was a green and gray, right?
Yeah, it's our company colors is actually teal. It's like a teal blue.
Teal, yeah.
If you ever remember way back in the day when Mission did like their Exhale big kind of brand kickoff, they were like that turquoise blue. Yep. Our company colors are pretty close to that. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to have all of our jerseys, be all blue. We have an accent of orange in our company logo, but I wanted to keep the orange off of the jerseys on this one. So right now it's a blue and like that teal blue and gray and black, and the jerseys came out great. I mean, dude, Trefty did an awesome job on those jerseys, man.
I know. And Trefty's one of those guys that, I saw him at the Let's Play Hockey Expo and I'm like, brother, how you been? Cause he played, for the, T2 Gamblers, while I was playing with the T3 Gamblers that those couple seasons. So it was pretty nice to see him and see what he's doing with Tidal Wave and those jerseys. I mean, those jerseys are sick.
They are.
I mean, Nasher and his crew, they run those tidal wave jerseys as well.
Mhm.
And Nasher's busting and open a rink in the Columbus area now.
Wow.
It's going to be state of the art. Everything that you would want in an inline facility.
Yeah.
He's gonna be bringing to the Columbus area because they don't have one.
I love it.
So I mean, it's nice to see the sport growing. It's nice to see to hear about a rink opening instead of another rink closing, because it seems like a lot of the rinks are closing.
Yeah, it's tough. The roller hockey rinks are tough to put pen to paper and make money. But I mean, if you can afford to do it and it's a hobby, then that's what you're doing it for. That's one of my lifelong goals too, is to open my own hockey rink. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I would love to have an inline rink out here of my own. I don't know what that looks like one day, but they're not cheap. I mean, the floor alone is $50,000. Not to mention the land and the building and the utilities that go with it, and the glass and boards and the scoreboard and all these things that go with it. It's expensive stuff, but
at the end of the day, to us, it's worth it because it's the sport that we love.
I know, absolutely. Yeah. Hey man, for me, it's a write-off, man.
It is. There's a rink in Detroit called Big Boy Arena that's got, I think, 5 sheets.
Wow.
That would be something to that would be sick to see a huge event come there, take over all 5 sheets, and make something like that happen. But
for sure, there's something I want to bring up on this podcast. I was mentioning to you. I have some funny, also interesting, facts about roller hockey that, like, when I grew up, that a lot of people might not even know. So, let's talk about probably the world's greatest roller hockey player now, quite possibly, is Travis Snow, right?
Yeah, I would give you props on that.
He's insane. I mean, when I lived in Orange County and I would play like men's league against him, I mean, the guy's just one step and he's 4 steps ahead of you, and shifty and strong on the puck. Man, that guy was insane to play against. But growing up, when I left Palma for a few years and started a pro team, we started Peter Dale's old company was USA Clinics. So we started a USA Clinics pro team, and like Ty Sabota was on the team with me, and we had some other guys, and we weren't terrible. Like a lot of these pro teams now, like the pro division's kind of saturated in my opinion. I'm going to piss a lot of people off saying this, but like there's 14 teams in a pro division and 4 are good, right? Maybe 5 to 6, right? Yeah. The rest should be playing men's platinum.
But they're also like they're to me, I look at it as they're earning their licks now, so that way in a few years they're going to be freaking phenomenal.
No question.
Skittles, Blood and Feathers is another one. Was the Rage Cats? They're an up and coming team. They're super young. So I mean, it's tough to compete with Black Ice, the Mud Cats, or the Snipers, I should say now. And Car Shield.
Palma.
With Haji and Palma. Palma's always Palma.
I mean, but a fun fact is when we went to Narch, we had a couple people drop out and we were playing pro, and I'm like, dude, we need to pick up some freaking good young players that are playing like D1 or whatever like that. And dude, we picked up Travis Snow. So Travis Snow's first pro team he's ever played on was our USA Clinic pro team.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was young as all get out, but man, just watching him play, I didn't know who the kid was, and I was watching him play at that younger age, and he was very dominant and good, but he was so small. He was like skinny, lanky, small, I guess. Yeah. And so he was getting beat up on pretty hard in pro. And just watching him just grow and get strong on the puck and just turn into the kind of player, not only the player, the kind of guy he is. Like, he's one of the coolest down-to-earth human beings of all time, and he likes red wine, and so do I. So we like to talk about wine, but no, the kid's awesome, and I thought that'd be an interesting fun fact no one probably knew.
I didn't even know that
with USA Clinics on our team.
That's crazy. Cause no,
Yeah.
I like to think that I know my inline shit, and it's always nice to learn new facts every day. Especially about the game that we enjoy playing so much.
Oh, absolutely. So it's, I've played with a lot of different teams and met a lot of phenomenal people along the way. And I mean, the list goes on and on, but man, I think it molds our lives, man. And it's
Really does.
Yeah, it really does. It's fun. But we're just hoping we keep this momentum going into the new year and into 2024. We're hopeful that Narch State Wars and Tours is a success, and I think we're gonna play Wish Cup this year in Nashville.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Nashville.
So,
yeah, I hear that facility is really nice, little outdoor. It'd be kind of nice to, maybe if you get some pointers, and you guys could build a couple of facilities like that out there in Texas.
That'd be insane.
Yeah.
That if you've never seen the two outdoor rinks in Nashville,
yeah,
they're incredible. Mm-hmm. They're absolutely incredible. Like and I think like the county or city paid for them or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it's insane. Like
yeah, they're outdoor, huge white tent over them, still make floor. I mean, they're incredible, one of a kind. They're fun to play at for sure. So I know State Wars does their fall, like end of the year fall event there, and that's an awesome time. If you've never gone to that's a vibe too for sure.
Yeah, it's of the so you got 3 major tournaments, Tours, State Wars, Narch, and then I would put the Wish Cup in Nashville as your 4th tournament that it's a must have on your resume.
Yeah,
to play at least one time in your career.
Yeah. So Ben, let me ask you this. So let me ask your opinion of this, and because it's a topic of discussion, a lot of people debate over it. So all 3 major big dogs kind of have their own territory. Okay. So Narch is historically now just been West Coast in SoCal, right? At the rinks in Irvine. So Narch owns that West Coast, and State Wars owns the Midwest, and they bounce between Michigan, Indiana, and Missouri, right?
Yep.
That's where they always are. And Tours is historically always in Florida, always always in Tampa, right? And that's where they're comfortable. That's kind of their territory. Right? They have their territory. It's crazy, right? So, but back in the day, Narch used to go to Canada, right? Yep. Narch would go to the Germain Arena in Fort Myers, which was one of the awesomest events ever. Narch was known for going to these really unique, different places. And do you feel that these 3 main guys are kind of just, they're in their territories and they're going to respect it and just stay there because it's easy and it's kind of the easy button now, or do you think these guys should kind of wander off and try new stuff because people are kind of getting tired of the same old thing, same old place?
So I'm almost, I think I have a little bit of a different perspective here. I think those should be those are like regional type events. You got the 3 main, like you said, you got Cali, Florida, and the Midwest. Okay. And then if there is another like event that could take the top 4 pro teams from each, however they, and then put them in a major, but then also bring in teams from other countries. Because you have the African Cup champions, you have the Sparta Cup champions, you have the Italian league, the French league. Bring in international teams and just make it a true world class championship event. Yeah, exactly. And and the World Skate Games, it's great. But yeah, I would love to see an event like that held. Somewhere where it's, 1 year it's in the U.S., the next year it's in Canada, the following year it's in Europe somewhere, where they have, okay, hey, you win Narch, you get a guaranteed slot in this particular tournament. I think that would be, like an automatic shot, like everything's paid for. Like that's what your victory guarantees you, is that this team can go play the best of the best and really see.
I love that idea. I think our biggest challenge with that is there's not enough money in hockey to pay for all that. So from a sponsorship standpoint, and maybe there is, and the way the money's being distributed isn't going towards that or the right way, but right, wrong, or indifferent. And number two, you got to look at roster management, right? I mean, look at the Roadrunners this year, right?
Yeah.
They add one player and it changes their team. They had Pat Maroon.
Yeah, and then
it changes their roster completely. So if
he only played one of the 3 events, you know?
Yeah, so if you go to, you have to look at roster management then if you do that, because if you have, let's say you have the Roadrunners as an example, let's just use that because I just brought it up.
Yep.
How many players on that roster on the winning team have to be at that next event in order to qualify?
All of them.
Right? All of them?
Yeah, all of them.
Can you reserve 2 to 3 spots to bring in different players? Are you allowed to bring in 2 to 3 different players from another good winning team? Let's say Palma toesn't qualify because they took 3rd and 4th and the top 2 teams made it.
Right.
Okay. If I'm Roadrunners, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna Eton, you're on the team, Travis Mill, you're on the team, Cadiz, you're on the team. Like, right, you're picking now from them, and that's not truly Roadrunners anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how do you manage the roster to make sure it's the same team?
Well, like I said, if you win with that team, that's the team you bring. If you have a couple of guys on reserve, that were, like you can have, like what they would do with the Team USA is you would have a couple in reserve in case their game goes to shit.
Sure.
You could have that, would be your backup, like, okay, hey, they're playing with the Blood and Feathers as an example. And for whatever reason, they're available. You should put them on your roster as a reserve player, even though they're playing for another team. To kind of help combat that issue that you're talking about.
Sure. Yeah, good point. Yeah, very good point for sure. It's interesting, and we've all been talking about this for a long time, and we've all the RHA and that insurance with RHA, like that whole organization was really trying to get everyone to come together and get on the same page, and it's a business, right? I mean, Narch is a business, State Wars is a business, Tours is a business. All these businesses want to do their own thing and make their own money and make their own profit. Like, that's the whole point of a business. And so getting them 3 to play together is it's never going to happen.
No, because each one, and if like you said, they each have their centralized. So like I would like to see, the Midwest teams start to go out west. The out west teams start to come to the Midwest a little bit more, just because you get a chance to see them play. And I want to see the best of the best. I don't care who you are.
Totally.
Or where you're from. In fact, I would love to see all of these teams go to Africa and play in that African Cup, because if you've never been to that Namibian facility in Swakopmund, you're in for a flippin' treat, bro.
Is it awesome?
They built it after I left, okay? And you have, I believe it's 2 sheets, and I think they're Olympic size, if I'm not mistaken. And but your hotel is right there. You're not too far from the Atlantic coast.
Did Palma just go there and win?
Yeah.
They went there and played?
Yeah, but and you're going to see those kids that like the Namibian junior ladies team dominated Team USA's women 9-1.
Wow.
And at the World Skate Games, it dominated. And I mean, they had there was 2 of the girls that I had coached over there. Granted, they were only 5 years old when I knew them. Now they're 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, the talent they have over there. Like when I was there, they had Dominic Denker, and I was just like, he was like Etan over there.
Yeah.
He was doing the spinning, the spinner-Rooney type stuff that Etan did. And it was crazy, like the skill levels that they have. And now you have Christian Cotiz, JW Cotiz, all of these kids. I mean, there's one kid that I don't even see playing anymore, and he was probably the best goaltender I've ever seen. Wow. And my first pro tournament, or my first pro tournament that I got a chance to participate in, the goalie was made a save, a behind the back save. Like it was not
Nice.
like he just went whoop, and it was like, what was that? You know, but this kid, he was 14 years old at the time, and he was just insane. So I mean, like the skill levels in all of these countries are just phenomenal. Now you got kids out of Brazil, you got kids, like I said, in Spain, Italy, France. The Czech Republic has a huge league too. So it'd be nice to see, the best of the best, finally coming together, and maybe even doing a draft league, kind of like what they do with the Legends, with an international flavor. And then put up a prize money for that, that would
George Brown does that, man.
Yeah, that would be
That's
insane
awesome.
To see something like that.
Georgie Brown's a beauty, man. That guy's one of the coolest cats, man.
Yeah, with and I just recently learned about the Legends draft thing, and I'm like, man, this is so cool.
It is, cool.
Like you just get everybody in a draft. Nobody's can play for Walla Walla, and it's just one of those things where it's just like, it's so cool to see. And I think that's going to be the direction that you're going to start to see. As
another interesting thing with that too is State Wars is like, because our Labeda Freeze team, we're a men's platinum team. We play State Wars AA just below pro, and we do at tours we do the men's AAA just below pro. So State Wars is interesting, right? Because every year you're allowed one pro player on your roster, but they got to be from that state, right? So we had Anthony Kozlow, and because he moved to Texas, but he was playing for Black Ice. So we had Kozlow as our pro guy and for State Wars, and I think he's maybe moved back to New York now full time. I'm not 100% sure, but the bottom line is, it was always tough. It was always tough for out of state teams. When I say out of state, if the tournament's in Missouri, Missouri teams are going to have an advantage because it's easy to get a pro guy to come back the next weekend and play because they live in town. Just like in Michigan. If Michigan, it's easy to get a pro guy to come play because they just have to come to the rink the next weekend and play. So, if you're a Cali team, Florida team, Texas team, and you're going 8-hour drive to 16-hour drive or, 3-hour flight to play, and those guys already played pro the weekend before, to get them back the next weekend and playing pro, it's very hard. Like I had put up Kozlow in a hotel the whole week so he could just stay there and play with us. Right. Because he didn't, the flights to go back and then come back were so expensive. It was cheaper to put him in a hotel and have him just stay. So it's I talked to Tim and Greg about it. I'm like, guys, man, it's not broken, but I feel like we can make an improvement to this division. It's either, and the goalie rule is you can have any goalie from anywhere all over the country. You can be a pro guy. The goalie thing is just wide open. So fine. The AA division at State Wars is one of the funnest tournaments that I play in all year. We love it. I think it's the best competition out of State Wars and Narch in tours. I think State Wars, men's platinum division or men's AA division is the toughest division for us all year. It's the last tournament of the year. I think it's the hardest competition and the best competition. But I think with the new rule, things are going to change. I had initially told Greg and Tim, just cut the pro guy thing out altogether, because it's just don't have any pro guy play, because it's just not, it's just really, it's not fair for the out of state teams to try to get a pro guy to come back. In state teams, it's easy. So I was like, the rule kind of favors the home team. So get rid of pro guys altogether playing AA. And they didn't want to do that because there's a lot of pro guys that want to play with their buddies, their hometown buddies, which I appreciate. And I'm like, good point. True. I always listen to everybody and two sides of every story. And I'm like, perfect. It's a good point. So the new rule they just released now, I don't know if you heard about it, but the new pro rule for AA is you can have any pro player from any state as your roster pro player now.
Wow.
So essentially I could say, Etan Chavera or Travis Snow, you're playing on Team Texas this weekend on our team, and I can get one pro player on any team to play on our team.
That's crazy. That's awesome, though.
It's it kind of opens up the gamut. There's a lot of really, really good states.
But let's just say, like, for an example, let's say, Etan wasn't able to make it to his pro event or whatever, and he's free that weekend. Why not?
Yeah,
it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Tim and Greg knocked it out of the park with that rule. I think it maintains what they had before, but makes it fair for the faraway teams. So I think Tim and Greg knocked it out of the park.
It amplifies it a little bit. Yep, I think that's great. But at that point, it's just okay. Now are they paying those guys to stick around to play? Or is it one of those? That's another topic for discussion on that one.
Ben, rumor has it freeze will probably pay a pro player to come play with them.
Oh, I'm sure they would.
we like winning. We like winning. We do. No, yeah. Who knows, man? It's fun and it's a lot of work for all these guys who host these events, and hats off to all of them for doing it. And I've been playing roller hockey since I was 8 years old in the driveway. Yep. Stick handling under chairs in the driveway, and emulating anything that Jaromir Jagr did, right? Like that's how I grew up, man.
That was your boy was Jagr. Mine was Patrick Waugh. Even though I learned early on playing roller that being a goalie was just not for me, because I couldn't. I could do goalie as a floor hockey guy, but playing roller, I was just I just couldn't do it.
No, I played goalie too, man. I did. A lot of people don't know that I played goalie too.
Yeah,
that
was crazy.
It was fun, but yeah, man.
Well, we are running out of time, and
appreciate you.
So we will definitely get you back on the pod to talk more about this, because this is definitely a great conversation for us to talk about. Now that I have a little bit more time, I'll have a little bit more time to put some more thought and energy into it. So let's get you back on and do another interview within a couple of months, and we'll talk about.
Man, we're all busy. We got our own podcast, and I understand the amount of work that goes into these things, and yeah. So
and I just started doing this last year, and then they're like, you know what? And I had a co-host who was doing the editing, and he had to drop out. So then I started doing the editing, and I didn't know anything about this stuff. Yep. And I actually find it more enjoyable now. I wish I could get paid to do this. Like I wish I could get paid, to just edit, just to interview you guys all day, and just to edit the interviews like right there, because I can edit this. I'll probably have this one edited in 15 minutes.
Wow.
It's crazy how fast I should be able to get this done up and going. But amazing. Yeah, I love it. It's so much fun. And it's just one of those things where it's like, man, it's about time to start giving back to the game, and they're just talking about stories that most people don't know about, or heard about, like the leagues in the other countries and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's like once you get out there and you realize like how big the international inline hockey season, or the inline hockey world is, you just tend to pay attention to it a little bit more.
Absolutely, for sure. Well, man, hey, I appreciate your time, Ben, and thank you for having me on, and thank you for all you're doing and to get the name spread more in inline hockey. And
I'm just trying to do our part, because Grove City Hockey's motto is growing the game, and if we're not willing to talk and to put in the time and effort to talk about all of the events that we have in the country and around the world, then we're not doing our part to grow the game, because I want to see the inline hockey in the Olympics, so I think it'd be great. So
yeah, same brother.
So
all right, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you too. And I'm Ben W. Stock. This is Vince Free. We are going to talk to you guys on the flip side.